Outside of Akron, Ohio, an airship took its first flight, the most modern, non-rigid airship at the time. A month later, we would christen Pilgrim, the first Goodyear branded airship that we flew entirely for public relations. So here, 100 years later, we are proud to bring for the first time ever, not one, two Goodyear Blimps, our next generation of airships. Welcome to Oshkosh, Wingfoot 1 and Wingfoot 2. Now in 1925, Pilgrim became the first blimp ever designed to be filled with helium rather than hydrogen. This Goodyear blimp fleet is still helium lifted, but they have an important first. Wingfoot 1 and Wingfoot 2 have a structural change to the Goodyear blimp. They have a frame inside, and that's going to allow them to pull off a lot of the maneuvers that you see here.
As you can see, Wingfoot 1 is hovering now and dipping his nose down, and the technology of those vectoring engines allows us to do that. While Doc in Wingfoot 2 is doing what we call the roller coaster pass.
And if you're going to have a roller coaster, you may as well have some rocket and rolling to go too. Joe, can you tell us a little bit about what Wingfoot 1 has going on here?
So Wingfoot 1 is demonstrating the power of our engines. We have three Lycoming IO 360 twin horsepower engines, driving two props on the forward and two props on the tail, and then the forward engines. All the props are vectorable and forward and reverse thrust, which allows us to be very maneuverable. We're 50 feet longer than the previous one, but we're a lot more maneuverable and operate across smaller space. Up to your right, so Wingfoot 2 doing a nice shot down maneuver to work your way back into our show. That is coming out of the Wingfoot 1 for quite the zone. That's the only way we can hover. We can hover all day long, but it has to be taken
Let's talk a little bit about what we're out here doing. Celebrating 100 years of the Goodyear Airship. In those 100 years, we've done all sorts of things, right? We've built airships for the U.S. Navy and the Army. We've covered the biggest sporting events around the country. But the thing that we love to do most, show off these airships to the public. That is something that we can never do at a bigger event than right here at Oshkosh.
And that last pass by Wingfoot 2 that you saw, I was mistaken. That was actually the high alpha pass. The down and out will be coming next.
So as I set up for the next maneuver, as I said, we've been there for the Olympics, the Super Bowl, the College Football National Championship. We've been there in good times, we've been there in bad times. The 1989 World Series, the San Francisco earthquake, we stayed up for 12 hours broadcasting our views to first responders on the ground, giving them an ability to see what we can do. Good times, bad times, the Goodyear Blimp has been there, making things just a little bit better.
All the time we're like a boat on the water, so hovering into the wind, imagine yourself in a kayak in the middle of a river. So that's kind of how we think of ourselves when we're hovering.
All right, Joe, Dan from Goodyear, thank you for telling us about the airships. We look forward to seeing them throughout the week, gentlemen. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you, guys.
Danny Cusham, back to you for the Words of America.
All right, thank you. Celebrating 100 years, wow, what a legacy, what a great sight. All right, the warbirds are going to be taken to the air, so I want you to put your head on a swivel, be a human radar screen, because they're going to be coming in from different directions. All right, we just got the call for the smoke on. Now, there's a bit of clouds today as compared to yesterday, so the smoke may not be as visible. But the groups of aircraft, one group coming in at about 11 o'clock as we face the runway, one at about 12 o'clock, and one at about 1 o'clock. But right over the top of the runway, coming from that direction, from right to left, you see the heavy smoke to the records, about 1,948 were built. They were built for 3 different branches of the military, one for the Air Force, one for the Navy, and one for the Marine Corps. 2 different power plants, one for the long runways at the Air Force head. Now, from there on the right, you can see the T-28s coming in, now coming in from a 1 o'clock position, the massive amount